Hey, what's up, guys? So this is gonna be the the week 38 recap. Um, Started off the week pretty good with SJ, or at least a win. Yeah, I do remember this. I did trade this really well. I got a hotkey from one of my buddies to where I cover break even. Um, and that's been well on this trade that's been awesome. So I shorted here on the stuff, covered covered break even. I saw it pop up, shorted here. It's not really a rejection. Uh, Not a great short, but like the risk management was perfect. I covered down here. I covered break even. Popped back up here. I shorted, covered. I recycled, and then I'm assuming I covered. Um, I traded RVPH. So this thing popped up, saw it stuffing out, shorted here, double topped, slammed down, I covered, shorted again, covered break even. Uh, this thing popped up here, shorted again. I added to the short. I'm assuming I was scaling in because I wanted to see if it popped up a little bit higher. Um, I added to the short. I covered into the wash. I recycled, covered break even, and I left it alone. I had a pretty good day on this. Then I started off next day with an absolute disaster, and this is also going to be my month of April like recap too. Um, and this is one of the two trades I wanted to show because this is the second worst trade I've ever taken. The other one will get to in a little bit. So I shorted here, shorted again. I covered um, for a loss. I shorted here. I covered break even, popped up, and this is honestly the only short I should have really taken at all. And shorted the pop. It fell. I covered again. Then I recycled, but the problem is I recycled at like 620s. I cut everything off at 7. Why I didn't use the hotkey, I have no idea. I remember it squeezed, and I freaked out because I mean, it just squeezed way past. I thought I was gonna like do like a fake and then just like plummet. The only thing I was thinking of was how far this thing had to go down to, my next target. I wasn't thinking like risk management at all. I covered, then I shorted again. Then I got into like this mode that I was like, I got to make my money back. I just lost a ton of money. I shorted, I covered, I shorted again, covered for another loss, and I'm pretty sure I covered for the loss here because yeah, this hit my max loss. So this squeeze right here, I was in I was in good size. So I mean, this thing ripping like even if it went 10 cents, that would have sucked. And I mean, this thing went a lot more than 10 cents. It went 50 cents. Like I was freaking out. I luckily I was doing okay on OCGN um on that day. What day was that? 27. So um shorted here. I added. I was gonna add the last little piece up here. I covered. I added weakness. I don't know why the hell I did that. I covered break even. popped up here. I shorted again. I covered all here because that's when my max loss was hit on NSPR and it covered my position. Unfortunately, yeah, I would have made a good amount of money if I didn't mess around with NSPR and sucked. And the reason that I think got so bent out of shape is because of this. So I shorted here, I covered, I shorted again, covered, shorted, and I covered break even. So then, like my absolute favorite setup happened. This thing popped and failed pre-market highs, and this is like my absolute go-to trade. Like if I could choose anything, it's this. And the cool thing about this one is how well it freaking worked. It fell to 10, and before 10:30, it was all the way down at 8:25. Like I mean, on this, I would have taken a decent size. Like I would have made a good chunk of money. I mean, there wasn't really like even if covered down here. I don't know if I would have really recycled. I'm like I probably would have recycled right here, like a small size, because my average still would have been like way up here. But I honestly I might not have. Like there wasn't like any A plus like recycles for me. Maybe like right here when it pops over the 90 MA and then falls below, I might have added. Um, but man, I missed this and I was just like pissed because this is my setup, and I think that it made me kind of fight the market, and but I'm going to continue on and all kind of tie this all in at the very end. So, um, then, um, oh never mind. This is a different day. So on this day, I this is when I had the biggest loss on a single ticker in my career. So I missed that, and then I fought this sucker for everything, like which is crazy. So I shorted this pop and fell 15, but I didn't cover. I'm short in front side short, front side cover. I held the 90 EMA. I didn't cover. I was looking for a home run. I wanted to fell all the way down here. I was like, you know what? Forget it. I missed GRTX. I'll kill this one. This thing, like this hits my targets. Like I'm gonna make way more money than I made on GRTX, and I got greedy and I was being stupid, and this thing just ripped. And man, it sucked. So I covered here. I was looking for his stalling out. I was shorting a lower high. I shorted, but I didn't cover into the wash at all. I added to the position, and then I cut it off. Then I shorted here. I added the position, cover, short, and pretty sure. Oh, no. Of course, I kept going. Of course. I shorted here, covered here, shorted here, added to the short, cover down here. I added, covered it. I guess I covered the full position here, re-shorted, covered that position, re-shorted, covered that position, re-shorted, added to the short, cut for a small loss. Probably wasn't a small loss, but I'm going to just say it was a small loss. And I missed all this. And I'm going to come back to this when I'm done with all of it. The thing that saved me on that day from getting a max loss much earlier was this short. Um, Shorted here. I was looking to add to it. I didn't add. Covered, and I covered at the final target. Pretty nice, simple, easy. I made a decent amount on this, and then the next day I came back, and this is also I ended green on this, but this is just horrible trading too. I was just talking to a friend about this, and shorting on front side. I'm scaling in, but like this is over million volume. I'm short on front side. Short, 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 cover, short up here, cover, cover, short, cover, cover. Um, Even though it worked out at the end, I got so cut up on the front side that I actually ended this thing with a loss. Then I traded Mott's. I don't think I did very good on this one either. No. So I'm looking for up in here. I short down here. Now, like I mean, it's only 10 cents, but like still 10 cents is 10 cents. Like that should be my stop. I covered, recycled short, cover short, and then I covered here because it's like I don't know. I didn't want to go through like the mental fight for like 5 cents. So I was just like it doesn't matter. And so I also traded OCGN. Um, so shorted, and then like I said, I should always just like have. I need to use my hotkeys, my break even hotkey, my 10 cent stop hotkey, all that stuff. Covered up here, pretty much top tick. This thing started like I saw it slamming down. I hit the bid and I got a shit fill. I don't know why I added to it. I covered down here. I recycled, covered, saw it uptrending, cut everything off here. I recycled again, cover, short, cover, and I had a pretty decent day on this. But like the biggest thing I think that I've been learning from this month is that I'm just forcing stuff, and I like two of the trades I had like my max loss is for the whole day, but on these both these trades are a bigger loss than my max loss, and so I started looking at my highest wins, my biggest wins of not even actually. I want to look at the month. Uh, so my biggest win on the month was this. I wonder if I want to see if I can pop this up. Um, since this is a um, monthly recap. Let's see if I can find this. I might have messed it up. I'm not really sure. Oh yeah. So this is the best trade of the month. So I shorted here, cover, and I covered one to reclaim the 90, which is perfect. This is a perfect trade. But even that, it's like those are both way bigger than my best trade of the month. I think that I'm gonna take like the best. I'm gonna average like let's say the top six. So Okay, so that's about what I had in my mind of what I want to risk. Like if any trade, doesn't matter what stock I'm trading, if it gets what over like my loss is greater than that, I'm done. I have to walk away. I'm not allowed to trade it anymore at all. And because I'm trying to prove that I'm right, and it doesn't work like that. And I feel like, between talking to like a bunch of different friends, talking to Steve, so I work with, or I am working with Steve Goldstein and Alpha Mind, and I got a mind coach, and it has been helping me out a lot with figuring out why I do what I do. And when I was talking to my mom, it kind of ties back into kickboxing. It's like the only thing that I've really dived into, and I would go through these periods where I would just be killing it, and but then I would get too cocky or like too confident, and I would take a loss that I never should have taken. And but it's not that I'm better than that person, or that when I lost the other person's better than me. It's whoever dealt with their emotions better in that day, you know. And it's kind of the same thing, right now, like I love stocks because this is the hardest opponent I've ever had to face, and that opponent's me. It's not the market, it's not the other traders, it's nothing. It's me dealing with my own emotions and learning how to work with myself. Everybody's got different things. Some people, like, they're too hesitant, they're too uh, they're scared to size in when they're supposed to size in. Like there's a million different things that people work with. For me, my biggest problem is I get too confident and like almost too arrogant. Like I get like I always think about like the like if everything works out, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna have a home run trade because I do feel like a lot of people think that I'm gonna fail at this. And for me, if I have a giant trade, it's like, ha, I proved you wrong. Like that to me, that's what I'm going for, and that's wrong. It doesn't matter. Like I tell tons of people in my life this. It doesn't matter what other people think about you or their views or anything. And it's easy to say that, but to live that is completely different. And that's what I'm having a struggle with right now is that I'm always like, oh, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. But if even one person watches this, I care what you think about me. I don't want people to think that I'm doing some stupid crazy thing in stocks and I'm going to be a failure or whatever. Like nobody wants to be a failure. But at the same time, like my guts tell me to do this. I enjoy doing it. And so like no matter what anybody thinks, I'm going to do it regardless because I want to. I enjoy doing this. But even though I'm going to do it, doesn't mean that I want other people to think that I'm a failure or that I'm making a dumb decision. Nobody wants that. But for me, I started trying to rush the process, and I sized up again because I started doing really good, and that's what I was telling my friend. Like me and her don't really like agree on this subject, but I would kill it when I was using smaller size because it didn't mean anything to me. I like my mentor was like, man, you want to size up? Like I'd be bored if I was using your size, and he's right. I was getting bored. I'd just go in, I'd just click a button, like nothing. But like now that I sized up, like I'm using the same size I was using when I made my $1,000 day, but it was very interesting what happened. Like something just switched my mind, and I was like, oh wow, I might be able to make $1,000 day here, and my trading went all to hell, and it was horrible. And it's so funny, like I know how to trade. I know how to do the technical things, but that's what me and my friend disagree on is because she thinks I should be more cautious and not risk it. But and I understand it, but like me having the size, that drives my emotion. It's not about me learning how to be technical. Like I got the setups. I know what is following the rules, what's not following the rules, but what I don't know how to deal with is my own head, my own mind. Like me. When I'm under stress, high stress, it causes me to it's like I have to be right, and I'm arguing with the market. The market doesn't give two shits about how I feel or what I think is right or wrong. It's supply and demand, and like that kind of brings me back to this other the trade that my biggest loss. This guy in the room, it blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. This guy made a killing trading this stock, and he's on a freaking phone conference, chill as hell, doesn't no worries at all. But while I have a trillion different shorts, this guy, I think he had two entries when he took the trade. But the thing is, supply and demand, right? Up here, supply level. Down here, demand level. It's dipping. We're buying it up, pushing it up. Falls again. They're buying it up. It's supply and demand. And I'm just shorting whatever. In between it, like in the consolidation period, everything. Like, but this guy, he's all talking and he's like, oh yeah, this thing's popped up above $16, and every time it hits $16, it falls off. Almost touched it up here, didn't quite make it. Hit here and fell again. He's like, what I'm doing is I'm looking for another pop into the supply zone. And so what happened is he shorted. He just put an order out there, and he's like, if it gets filled, it gets filled. Calm as hell. It fills, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm in the trade. And so then he's up over here and starts seeing all these wicks. He's like, okay, I'm gonna take another short, like a less risky short. Like, he's risking the high of day anyways, and so he takes another higher ad, helps out his average, and then it does exactly what he thought it was going to do. What I thought it was going to do. This is what I thought, but like I'm fighting it the whole. Instead of just like letting the trade work for me, I'm fighting against it. Like if I would have taken instead of where I covered at, I took the short up here, risking high of day. I never would have been stopped out. I never would have broke even. If anything, I would take my first cover down here, pop back up, it reclaimed the 9 EMA. I could have covered everything down here, or I could have held it and added to my position up over here like what he did. And then because exactly what I thought was going to happen, happened. This thing tanked from 16 bucks down to $13. Like, that's insane. Like, obviously, like you see all these guys posting all these giant P&Ls and stuff, and like the conclusion that I had, because this guy did make it, he made a shit ton of money in 20 minutes, and I'm like, dude, why, like, how's he doing that? How am I not doing that? But the thing is, that's the level he's at right now. Like he's trading much larger size. Like on a stock like this, I would have been trading like, man, to be completely honest, like not even a tenth of his size. I probably would have been trading a 20 or 30th of his size, probably. But like that's the thing though. It's all about levels. He can handle the pressure of using that size. I can't. I would have freaked out. The guy's on a conference call, just talking, chill as hell, whatever. It plummets. I would have been freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's actually working. Like I need to take profits. And he's just like, oh, it's working. I'll take my first cover here. He's like, I'll look for down around here to cover. Just nonchalant, doesn't no cares at all. And it's just like I would have been freaking out. if this would have happened with that size, I would have been like that's like the lottery for me. But it's all about levels and like learning how to deal with yourself, and that's where I am in like this journey. And I'm just piecing a lot of stuff together. But I don't know. It's cool getting to do these recaps because when I'm done with mentoring, I get to go back and I get to like see all the struggles that I went through and finally piecing everything together. And that's really cool to me that I'm able I'm the happiest thing is that I started to do all this stuff. So I hope that if somebody does make it this far into the video, that you guys, hopefully listening to me rant will help, click things together for you. But I did really, really bad this month. Next month, actually I'll put this out there for everybody because I promised her, so I can't go back on it. I have my next mind coach session is in 17 days. I had 5 max losses this last month, and I promised my friend that if I take a max loss before my next mind coach session, then I have to size way, way down. And I don't want to size down. So for me, I have to be very, 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 very cautious because I'm using bigger size. It's easy to let things get away from you. But like if I'm very disciplined, I could do really well with all this. And that's the thing though. If and so that's why I made her the promise that if I do bad and things get away from me, that I got to size way back down so I can start learning what I need to learn with smaller size, and hopefully I get the same lessons. But I don't think that's going to be the case, and so I don't want to size down. So I'm going to force myself to chill out. So I want to throw that out there. So if any makes 27 minutes into the video, comment, keep your promise. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in, and back next week.